Am I speaking to right now?
Cameron.
My name
Cameron.
is
Cam Buford.
Hey, it's Peter Rosenberg. I'm hanging on my man Cameron Buford.
We got some good questions today.
I'm a Dolphin fan.
There's always room for improvement.
I'm more a fan of boxing. Boxing is my main sport.
All we want to see every year are the best two mothers getting in the ring and getting on.
I got some of this for you.
Goodness. For me?
Yeah, just for you.
Think about it like this: the promoter pays the fighter, the fighter pays the manager.
Okay.
So the manager works for the fighter, and the fighter works
for the promoter. Okay. So you are lifting weights currently?
When he said it's easier to score in the NBA versus Europe, did you agree with them?
To me, it's easy to score all over the world.
Can I finish? Do you want me to speak or do you want to conduct the interview and answer for me? Which one?
What do you think about these upcoming?
Okay. Like I was saying before.
Aaron, what has the game of baseball taught you?
One of the biggest things is being humble.
Can you give a message to the kids to kind of persevere through the false teachings they may be giving?
Patience.
Okay.
Patience.
As the show Voice of the Fans
Oh my goodness!
continues to evolve,
Come on, you were adding some spice to it.
it is strictly banter back and forth between myself and Cameron Buford.
I enjoy all of it.
The real ones know what's going on, right?
Never mind.
Go watch the tape. Go watch the tape, and then you tell me if it was all about just a system.
You look like a buffoon.
Go do your research. Go do your study.
I'm not caught up to you guys yet. I do
Real, real surprised at that, Ken.
Hey, come here. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Oh, this guy.
That's what's good in sports, man. It's the big Snoop Dogg, man.
That's what's good in sport.
Thank you for making our voice your choice.
If you haven't told your girlfriend about the show, tell her about the show. If you haven't told your boyfriend about the show, tell him about the show. If you haven't told your cousin, your uncle, your grandfather about the show, let everybody know about the Voice of the Fans podcast.
Hey, man, thanks for making our voice your choice. You know how we do. Yeah.
What's good, fam? Thank you guys for tuning in to the Voice of the Fans podcast. This is your man, Cam. It is week 363 of this iteration of the Voice of the Fans podcast. Yeah, happy Wednesday to you as well, Big Barry. Thank you for tuning in. Fans, we got a lot to talk about tonight. We got some stuff. We got a retirement that we're going to have to discuss. We got a benching that we're going to have to discuss. We got the NBA Cup that we're going to have to discuss. What you guys' thoughts on the NBA Cup? Did you enjoy the NBA Cup? Was everybody tuned in? I mean, I have to admit, I was much more excited about it than I anticipated. So I thought it was a good thing. But we got a lot to talk about, and why not jump right into it, fans? So for those of you who have been a fan of the show and who have watched the show for years, you already know how I feel about Tua Tagovailoa. It's not even a discussion. So some of you guys should probably wait in here to hear what I have to say on this situation. I didn't want them to draft Tua in the first place. My Miami Dolphins, I should say. I didn't want them to draft Tua in the first place because and some of you may not be interested, but I'm just going to run down my reasoning for the Dolphins. My Dolphins I've been rooting for since the 1980s, early 80s, I should say. 81, 82, something like that. Well, they shouldn't have drafted Tua Tagovailoa. Number one, in college, he broke his wrist. He broke his hip. He broke his ankle. Those are red flags. Those are the hip and ankle. You're going to need to move in the NFL. And if you can't move in the NFL, you're going to be in trouble. What are we seeing out of Tua? He can't move. He runs. When he's on the run, he runs right into the safety who gives him a concussion. I mean, so the dude's already fragile. So now you're fragile and you can't throw the ball? Come on, man. Yeah, I've seen enough too, McDaniel. I've seen enough too. But that was, Fans, I've been saying this for 5 years. The dude, he's had one good season in 5 years, and in that season that he's had his best work, they still lost in the playoffs because of the cold weather. So, Tua, good riddance, man. I want the coach to be gone too. I don't want the coach to think now that he's made some changes. Hewer stinks as well. I'm not even worried about Hewers coming in. Hewer sucks as well. So we may not have seen the end of Tua in a Dolphin uniform because Hewers is not. He's worse. If you could imagine, he's worse than the Tua we see today. Not the Tua from 2023, or 22. The Tua today, he's worse than that. So. The Dolphins, I mean, they're not in any danger of losing their draft positioning because they're benching Tua. They're just putting in Hewers, who's just gonna, ruin his career, and he may not. This might be the last job that he has, his contract with the Dolphins, because after the next few weeks of seeing him, I'm not sure who's gonna want to sign this guy. But this past week, man, we had the Steelers beat up the Dolphins. Kenneth Gainwell had a great game, in fact. And the Dolphins just was inept, couldn't do anything. Minnesota beat the Cowboys. Jefferson had a good game. Minnesota's aerial attack led by the quarterback, J.J. McCarthy, led them to a win. The 49ers all over the Titans. That was a big win for the Niners this past week. Because although they're not in the NFC West is tough to begin with. The NFC West is tough to begin with, and they're trying to keep pace. They're at 10-4. The Seahawks are 11-3, as with the Rams, and the Niners are trying to keep pace. A good win by the Niners. Speaking of those, the Saints surprised. That was the upset of the week. Surprised the Panthers. The Saints came back and surprised the Panthers. Tyler Shuck did his thing and put the game back into they won it on a late field goal. So good work by the Saints. Speaking of those Rams, the Rams beat up on the Lions this past week. Matthew Stafford, who's the MVP, he's the leader in the clubhouse. I'll start going through MVP picks next week, but it looks like Matthew Stafford is the MVP in the clubhouse right now, or the leader in the clubhouse for the MVP, because they get down to the red zone and he's throwing touchdown. He'll throw it for three straight downs, and then kick a field goal. And they clinched the playoff berth with their win last week. The Broncos beat the Packers. Bo Nix had a good game, showing poise and pushing the Broncos to the top of the AFC. The Packers losing Micah Parsons kind of impacted the whole squad, the whole team. When they saw him go down, and then have to get help off the field, they knew it was something serious. So it turns out he has a torn ACL, and they're going to have to find a way to plug those holes or score more points, one of the two. The Packers will, because he has a torn ACL. Oh, that's ugly. The Bills came back on the Patriots. The Patriots had a 21-0 lead on this game. I kind of stopped paying attention to it because I didn't think they were going to come back. And sure enough, they came back. The Bills came roaring back, and they ended up winning that game 35-31. The Texans killed the Cardinals 40-20. It wasn't close. The Ravens shut out the Bengals. Bengals, I guess. Going against the Baltimore Ravens and half of Lamar isn't enough to get you out of the bed. So the Bengals, Brock Purdy said, enough's enough. I'm good. The Commanders outlasted the Giants. The Chargers beat the Chiefs, Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes went out on went out with a torn ACL himself last week. So not only do they have a bad season, but he's going to have to face the offseason rehabbing. So shouts out to Patrick Mahomes, get well soon. And I think look forward to seeing how he and the Kansas City Chiefs, how they rebound. Are they going to – how do they come back? How do they bounce back? That's going to be very interesting to see how they bounce back. Or have we seen the best of that iteration of the Kansas City Chiefs? So this would be pretty interesting storyline. The Bears beat the Browns. The Bears, who are clearly ahead of schedule. Clearly they're ahead of schedule. But that Caleb Williams, he makes a couple plays every game. And he just make you say, wow. And while you're saying, wow, he's running by you for another first down. So Caleb has got the offense wrapped around his finger, this Johnson offense, and doing good things. The Seahawks, they needed 6 field goals from the field goal kicker to beat the Colts, who brought Phillip Rivers in on Tuesday to run their offense. And, had it not be, I know that's a phrase, but had it not be for the tardiness, like, that's crazy. Wouldn't have hooked up with him. But the Seahawks, 6 field goals. Come on, man. Where you at, Sam Darnold? You gotta step up and lead this team to some wins, man. Because the time for you to stand up is now. You're playing the division rival. You're playing the division rival on a short week. You need to step up tomorrow because they need your leadership. They can't run the ball. The defense is good, is solid, but the Stafford's going to be putting a lot of pressure on that defense, so they're going to score points. You need to be able to score points, Sam Darnold, talking to you. And let's see what you're able to do, man. Hopefully you're able to play some defense or play some offense and put some points on the board and not make it so tough for the defense. So, yeah, fans, Tua was benched. As I mentioned, it's about time. They're going to put in Hewers. Hewers is no better. So, like I mentioned earlier, there's a scenario where we could see Tua starting for the Dolphins once again. Now, there's a lot of information that I'm not privy to. I don't think they told him to clear out his locker because they still owe him a bunch of money. If anything, they're trying to negotiate a buyout with him, so maybe they don't have to pay the full agreed-upon buyout fee. But instead of $53 million, he gets $43 million or $40 million. I think he could be happy with that. What you guys think? That's what the Dolphins got to do. Tua being benched is a bad look. I just wasn't happy with Tua from day one, week one. When I saw him in Alabama, I saw we had the 5th pick. I was hoping somebody would jump up and take him ahead of the Dolphins because I didn't see an NFL quarterback. I did not see an NFL championship quarterback. Let me clarify that. I did not see a championship NFL quarterback from Tua Tagovailoa, and hence he's not even a playoff quarterback. From his time in Miami, he's proven he's not even a playoff quarterback. So there, Mahomes going down really obviously hurts the Kansas City Chiefs. He'll be back. That's a year injury. Really 2 if you want to be considering back in full speed. But how is that going to affect him as a quarterback? How's that going to affect his movement? How's that going to affect his throws? All this is yet to be seen. It's all a guessing game. But I would say that the Mahomes coming off of a torn ACL probably won't be leading the Chiefs to the Super Bowl. So that's not going to be good from a historical standpoint. But I'm praying for you, Mahomes, and looking for you get back on the field. And Micah Parsons, that torn ACL from Micah Parsons. Now, when the Jerry just has to be smiling about this one. He ain't had a whole lot to smile about, but he's smiling about this one. But when the thought was that Jerry did not want to pay him a bunch of money. And okay, you don't want to pay him. Why don't you want to pay him? Well, we just, we think we're going to go in a different direction, which is their whole entire prerogative. So they go in a different direction. They make the big trade, right, to get Micah Parsons. Dallas shores up their defensive line a little bit, shores up their defensive interior tackles positions. The Packers get Micah Parsons to match with their young defense, who's been aggressive on the corners, who has the safeties that like to roam the field. But when you put a guy like Micah on the team, now that time that the defenders have to defend their receivers lengthens. It extends that time. It extends the time that the safeties and the have to come down and defend the receivers and still come down and make the tackle on the run play. So being able to run the ball is very critical to being able to move the ball. And the Seahawks haven't been able to run the ball. On the defense, their defense is playing solid. Their defense is playing lights out. But when I say we, just talking about the Seahawks, need to do something to improve the Sam Darnold's comfortability, because he doesn't look comfortable. Is he seeing ghosts? He's not looking comfortable back there in the pocket, and this has been going on for 3 or 4 weeks now. Last week was just a culmination of it, but this has been going on for 3 or 4 weeks. Sure, McVay is smelling blood in the water. So maybe he can stiffen that upper lip and play strong football this week against the division Rams, because this game here that the Rams and the Seahawks are going to be playing is for all the marbles. Well, all the marbles in the division. The winner of this game likely will win the division. So both of these teams need to come out with their hair on fire and prove what this game means to them. Last week, fans, I went 11 for 16. That's 68%. I had Dallas beating Minnesota. I had the Carolina Panthers beating the Saints, as I think most people did. I had the Bengals beating the Ravens, but the Ravens shut them out. And I had Tampa Bay over the Falcons, and the Falcons won that close game. So there I was there on the brink here, and I'll show you just for craps and grins. I'll show you how I have these teams rated this season. Okay. Let me see if you can see what I'm seeing. I need to open up the screen. Okay, here, fans, is my supremacy rankings for this week in the NFL. I got the Bills and the Patriots. The Bills just beat the Patriots, obviously. The Broncos, the Chargers, and the Jaguars. It's not in there in the AFC. In the NFC, I got the Rams, Seahawks. They're playing for this division tomorrow. I got the Packers, the 49ers. I think the Packers and 49ers are a good test story because they're both solid, playing good football, but injuries have impacted both of these teams. And then I got the Bears coming in at 5 for both the NFL and combine the NFL altogether. I got the Rams, Seahawks, Bears, and Broncos. I think the Bills, I should take the Bears out, put the Bills in there, swap the Bills and the Patriots. So Bills would be 3, Patriots would be 4, and Broncos would be 5. That's how that lineup should read, should go. So make your bets, make your deals accordingly. Yeah, that's it. Okay, I can stop sharing that. Just wanted to show you guys. And you can see where I told you I need to get up to 70% is my goal. I'm at 64%, coming off a 69% week. So a few more weeks to straighten this out, but I'm getting closer to my target. Hopefully some of you guys can appreciate that as well. Okay, removing that. There we go. We're done there. Once again, fans, thank you guys for tuning in to the Voice of the Fans podcast. This is week 363 of this iteration of the Voice of the Fans podcast. Fans, we got some good games coming up this week. I'm going to give you my games of the week first. I think there's games of the week, and then there's secondary games of the week this weekend. The Rams and the Seahawks, obviously, on Thursday night. That's number one, numero uno. The Packers and the Bears is another game of the week contestants, with the Green Bay Packers led by Jordan Love going to Chicago and playing their young quarterback and Caleb Williams and his new head coach to see if they can actually put something together to move this ball and get themselves a playoff push because they're right there. The Packers and the Bills. I think the Panthers and the Buccaneers, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to Carolina to play the Panthers, both 7-7. I mean, they're playing for their division. They are too. They are playing for their division right here in this matchup. So I think that's quietly going to be a good game. And then I have three other games that, we'll all keep an eye on, but I think they're kind of, I want to say just as critical, but they're just as critical. I say that. The Chargers and the Cowboys. The Chargers really can't lose this game, and the Cowboys still think they have playoff hope, so they'll be playing. This would be a hard-fought football game. The Steelers and the Lions, both at 8-6. The Steelers is Mike Tomlin is trying not to miss the playoffs, while the Detroit Lions are trying to get on a winning streak and sneak back into the playoffs. That's a 7-point game. And then the New England Patriots versus the Baltimore Ravens. Now, you just put the jerseys on the field. You throw the names of the starting quarterbacks out, throw the names of the starting middle linebackers out. Like, these two teams will get after it. And I think this would be the number 6 big game of the weekend for me, if you will. I think those are a really good game. And the way I went in picking these games, I got New England beating the Ravens. I got Detroit beating the Steelers. And I have the Chargers beating the Cowboys. For my real picks, I got the Rams. I got the Rams beating the Seattle Seahawks. I got the Green Bay Packers beating the Chicago Bears. And I do have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers beating those pesky Panthers this weekend. What games do you agree on? Which games do you disagree on? Let me know. We could talk about it. Yeah, let me know. So that's the NFL, fans. Also, we had this past week more Chris Paul allegations, or not allegations, more Chris Paul clarifications as to what went wrong and how he was rubbing people wrong, et cetera, et cetera. And that still continues to be a rough situation because these guys, not like they went on a winning streak without Kawhi. So there's a lot of things going on here. The Knicks beat the Spurs, who beat Oklahoma City Thunder for a chance to play for the title. The Knicks beat the Spurs for the Emirates Cup title in the NBA. What do you guys think about that? How do you feel about that? I know New Yorkers is stoked and excited, but this is, let's not get carried away now. This is the not only the rainy season, but this is the time where guys need to step up and step up. They've done that, so they deserve credit for stepping up in hostile territory like Las Vegas. How much carryover will there be for this win? We saw the Pacers. We saw it impacted the Pacers last year. LeBron, did they get past the first round? I don't think they got past the first or second round. So my question was, how much carryover do you think there would be for the Spurs to win, or the Spurs winning the Knicks winning the in-season tournament? How do they respect that? Do they enjoy that? Do you look at that every day you come into the gym? I wonder where that's going to be stored at as well. And then how do you guys feel about this in-season tournament, preseason tournament? I've been calling it. How you guys feel about this tournament? This is the third year. I've kind of enjoyed it, I must say. I don't really care for the courts. So big deal. The one change I would make, and you guys have probably heard me say this once before, is I would make the tournament the whole month of November. If you want to start the season in October, the last week in October, let the teams get a few games under their belt. That's fine. I don't mind that, but I would like to see that tournament. Everybody plays a whole month, whatever it is, 13, 14, 15 games for that month, whoever has the better record. I still like the tiebreaker where your points are involved, so forcing teams to want to keep scoring. That's what I would do. That's what I would do in that situation. That's the rule change I would make with the Emirates Cup, is make it the whole month of November, and then that first weekend in December we have that tournament weekend like they did now. I think that would be good, just so all of November is tournament games instead of this Monday or Tuesday night, Friday night, Thursday night, whenever you see a different court. Come on, cut it out, man. Jalen Brunson won the MVP. He had a 33-point game last night. I think he scored 40 the night before. His leadership he shows he's a dude in New York, a point guard. Like, do you guys like his shoot first mentality? I mean, that's what most point guards are today. But do you like that shoot first mentality? Also, in the NBA, well, that was the biggest story. We had Wemby and OKC Wemby and the Spurs beat up on OKC Saturday night for their chance to get to the New York and play for the title. They played a good game. New York just played a better game with more together. I think more experience in late game situations. That's why they won. So kudos to the Knicks for their win there. What do you guys thoughts on this Chris Paul thing? Now more stories are coming out of the behavior, the things that's going on. Chris Paul. Now, if you're familiar with the Clippers, the Clippers have lacked leadership for a long time. Paul George was more of a follower. He did whatever Kawhi Leonard suggested. Kawhi really doesn't make the suggestions. I mean, I wonder how they select which restaurant to go to in their house, because Kawhi is going to be quiet. He doesn't want to have no confrontation. And if they say, no, we don't want Italian, we want Mexican food, he sounds like he'd just be like, okay, and won't say nothing. Just drive him, go pick it up, bring it home. Here you go. Won't say, go read a book or something. I don't know. I don't know what's up, but he didn't want the leadership that Chris Paul was bringing. And what's the saying goes? If there's no leader, a leader will step up. And if there's no leadership and somebody who just observed it needs to step up, a leader's going to fill the void. Now, there's some complications that go along with that, because we have Chris Paul, the distinguished veteran, longtime player, coming back to Los Angeles, where he once ruled the nest. But this is a different Los Angeles team. This is a different Clippers team. Chris Paul didn't. Number one, he hasn't won no championship. Number two, Kawhi Leonard has taken even though he didn't play in the playoffs, have taken the Los Angeles Clippers as far as Chris Paul has. So there's no one-up shit. They're both even. In fact, the fact that Kawhi Leonard did have a championship ring, increases his level above Chris Paul. So if he chooses not to listen, and then James Harden follows suit, then there's a mutiny. There's a problem there. So I'd like to find out, or I'd like to know, and I guess over the next couple of weeks I'll get my answer. But I'd like to know. I think it's kind of odd that Ty Lue, who's everybody reveres him as a great head coach, cannot kind of handle this situation. Now, should they have known who they're getting? Well, the regime is different. So when they say he's their greatest player ever, yeah, he's the greatest player, but that was 10 years ago. And so him coming back to this new regime, this new regime wasn't the coach of those Lob City Clippers. This new regime wasn't privy to that. So they don't have that emotional bond that some Clipper fans may have to that particular era of the team. And so when Chris Paul comes in there and comes with that bravado and that knowledge and that history of this being his team, like, the guys clearly didn't want to hear that mess. And then Chris Paul, when nobody's listening, if nobody's listening, the louder he's going to get. And, yeah, that becomes a problem all around. Ramona Clark wrote a good article about this on ESPN. Ramona Shelburne wrote a good article on this on ESPN. So it's pretty enlightening of the situation and the timing and everything that happened with the Clippers. But if bad leadership, if the team leadership ran him out of there, that's shame on the Clippers. The whole thing's an eyesore. I think this is a worse eyesore on the Clippers than the whole incident with Kawhi and aspirations. I think this is the worst blemish on their mark. And then to go out and lose by nearly 20 to the Grizzlies, man, it's kind of almost embarrassing. So we had the NBA had their Emirates Cup this weekend. The next major event is obviously they're going to have their 5 games on Christmas Day, which I think these Christmas Day games are kind of suspect, fans. What do you guys think about these Christmas Day matchups? I was looking at this the other night and trying to see, like, how do I plan for Christmas? And fans, I'm just going to tell you, I'm going to go through this list, and you tell me. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe it's me. Maybe it could be just me. But the Cavaliers and the Knicks, is that going to get you up in the morning after opening some gifts? You going to tune in? The Spurs and the Thunder, that's an awesome game. That's much watch TV, 11:30 Pacific Standard Time. Mavericks and the Warriors, Houston and the Lakers. Now, the only reason I really want to watch this game is I want to see my guy Reed Shepherd evolve. They're looking like they're giving Reed Shepherd more opportunities, and I want to see what that new opportunities, how that's shaping up against Luka and Austin Reeves. And then obviously you have KD matched up against LeBron, LeBron showing his age. KD's already up there. That's matchup number 2. So you have 11:30 matchup, and then you have 5 o'clock matchup that are must see. The Timberwolves and the Nuggets. Now I think that's a playoff matchup from years ago, but I'm not excited about it. So the NBA out of 5 games, I really want to see 2 games in the NBA. Now if they're on, I will watch them. But out of 5 games on Christmas Day, I want to watch 2 games and then. Also, let me say this too: when there's NFL games on Christmas Day, that gets really tough for the NBA. Now, again, there's 2 games I said I want to watch, and I have them on a second TV. But when we get down to what's this going to be? Week 17, and we have the Commanders and the Cowboys at 10 a.m. on Christmas Day. All right, we can miss that one. We have the Vikings and the Lions on Christmas Day. That's close to a must-see. And then end in the evening, you have the Broncos and the Chiefs. Now, that's not as big of a game as it was, just last week. But I think there'll be still people tuning in to see the Broncos finish off the Chiefs. And so that's 3 games. I mean, there's good games on. That Vikings-Lions game will take up some time, so you can watch the NBA, Vikings-Lions, some NBA, and you toggle between the Chiefs, the Chiefs and the Broncos in the NBA game. Fans, it's something I like to do. I enjoy the show. I like to do this week in history. Every week, like to give you just highlight some of the things that happened in history. But before I get to that, I want to give a shout out to the Great American Casino, where we record live from the Great American Casino, 14040 Interurban Avenue South, 14040 Interurban Avenue South, Tukwila, Washington, 98168. They have a great happy hour here during the week and on the weekends. Great drink specials, food specials as well. It is a casino, so they do have bonus free play Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Qualified players can receive up to $1,000 in free play. 2 winners every hour. So come on down and play. If you got that gambling bug and you want to put some money on the Red 17, come on down here and do that. Multiple games for you to choose from at the Great American Casino, 14040 Interurban Avenue South, Tukwila, Washington. This week in history, fans, we got December 10, 1846. Norbert Relix patents multiple effect pan evaporators, which revolutionized sugar refining and made the far less work hazardous for laborers. December 10, 1854, Edwin Berry, born in Oberlin, Ohio, was later co-founded a city restaurant and built Hotel Berry, one of the most elegant hotels in the state. December 17, 1963, Queen Anna Nzinga of Ndago and Mataba passes away. She was a fierce leader who resisted Portuguese colonization and became a symbol of African resilience or resistance. 1963, she passed away. December 12, 2005, Dionne Warwick, honored for national retrospective for her 6-decade career, reminding audiences of her impact and one of the most successful Black female recording artists. Dionne Warwick had cuts now, go back for a long time, and I think Solid Gold really blew Dionne Warwick up. I mean, at least that's what I remember her from. Some of the well-known movie releases that happened this week. The Green Mile. You guys remember The Green Mile, 1999? Sister Act 2, Back in the Habit, was released December 10, 1993. You had West Side Story, also released on December 10, and Ocean's 12, December 10, 2004, Clooney, Pitt, and crew, and it was a heist that they were trying to accomplish. Fans, this week, man, we had Terrence Crawford says he's going to retire. I'm not sure many people believe him in the boxing world, but Terrence Crawford claims to retire. And when the fighter, regardless of if he returns or not, when he decides to retire, you have to do a retrospect on the career, right? Terrence Crawford. Well, first, let me ask you, what's the odds he returns? I put the odds at 7. He was at 75%. He returns. Who would you like to see him fight? If he were to return, or what's going to draw him out of retirement? I think is a fight with Boots Ennis. Enough money on the table will get him out of the retirement. I think also. I don't know how bad Canelo wants Canelo doesn't do rematches. If you remember, he got his ass whooped by Dimitri Bivol and never mentioned Bivol's name again. So I don't know if Canelo likes to do. He rematched Triple G. That's because he beat Triple G. He won, and he wasn't concerned with getting knocked out again or getting embarrassed. I don't know that Canelo wants to fight Terrence Crawford again. If he does, it's going to be worth a lot of money. If he does, that's the reason Terrence Crawford will come out. But I just don't. It was a whooping that he took. Just like he took the whooping from Dimitri Bivol, I don't think he's going to fight Terrence Crawford again. Just my opinion. Just my personal opinion. But one of the Charlo brothers, would that be a big enough fight, Terrence Crawford or one of the Charlo brothers, for him to come out of retirement? Now, they always had a lot of smack talk for each other back and forth. They always talked a lot of this, a lot of that. But is that enough to draw him out of retirement? That I don't know. But we got some fight boxing coming up still. Boxing is hot, fans. Jake and Joshua fight December 19th. That's in a couple of days on Friday night. Are you guys tuning in to see Jake Paul fight Anthony Joshua? If Anthony Joshua does not knock his block off inside of 2 rounds, this is rigged. I'll go ahead and put it out there. If Anthony Joshua does not knock Jake Paul's block off inside 3 rounds, this is a rigged fight. Anthony Joshua has some options. He didn't have to do this. He wasn't a struggling boxer, so he did this to make a few dollars. He did not have to do this. In fact, there was talk that he had a fight with Tyson Fury scheduled for later next year. So he didn't have to do this. Go fight Jake Paul in an exhibition is what I'm saying. He really didn't have to do this, but since he's doing this, if he does not go and knock this dude's block off, man, it's gonna be another stain on his career. It's gonna be a stain on boxing. Tonight in Tokyo, Japan, you got Danilo Donaire fighting. You got a nice fight card. Kuhara fighting. Santiago fighting. You got a nice fight card there. But let me go through this. I just want to give a shout out to Terrence Crawford for being, a pound for pound champ. I mean, Crawford stayed on the pound for pound list for a couple years now, and it wasn't until he beat up Earl Spence that he got a little more recognition from some of the novice boxing fan or part-time boxing fans. But this dude's been better than David Benavidez, better than Inoue, better than Dimitri Bivol, who I talked about, who beat on Canelo. Alexander Usyk, a lot of people got him high on the pound for pound list. He's not ahead of Bivol, in my opinion. Devin Haney needs to Shakur. I have Shakur ahead of him. Gervonta Davis shouldn't even be on the top 10 anymore. Jesse Rodriguez, Arturo Beterbiev. He's way too low on this top 10 list that I'm looking at. He needs to be around 6 or 7. But Terrence Crawford is the cream of the crop. All these guys I'm mentioning, Terrence Crawford is better than all of them. So kudos to Crawford for his career. If it's in fact over for him, kudos to Crawford for being such a generous dude with his time. It's certainly a historical boxer. What other big fight cards coming up do we have? Again, Jake Paul on Saturday night in Miami. Anderson Silva, Tyrell Woodley on that card. Lisa Bumgarner on that card as well. And then the next big fight after that is going to be January 31 in New York City. and that's Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez, which is another good fight, boy. Great fight. Great fight. I think I'm at the board the plane coming for that one. I'm going east. The guy got to be at that fight. I think that's going to be a great one. Fans, I want to thank you again from the bottom of my heart. Appreciate you guys tuning into the Voice of the Fans podcast. If you can and you're willing, hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. It doesn't cost you a thing. In fact, you guys really help me out in the algorithms, when you hit that subscribe button or you hit that like button, it lets the algorithm know that you're digging the show. So go ahead, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Yes, hit that subscribe button, give you a chance to hit that subscribe button once again, or hit that like button again. Thank you guys, fans. I appreciate your support. Fans, the quote I'm gonna leave you guys with. As you know, I like to do this week in history segment, and like to lead the show with a quote when I'm talking sports. And the quote I have for you is just to give you more self-belief in yourself, a little bit more confidence. Just an inspirational quote. Believe in yourself and all that you are. Know that there is something inside of you that's greater than any obstacle. And that's Christian Larson. Fans, believe in yourself and all that you are. Know that there's something inside of you that is greater than any obstacle. Fans, I hope you guys take that quote and listen to it and rewind it, replay that quote for the rest of the week. And I will talk to you guys next week. As always, fan, I truly appreciate you guys tuning in. Please, once again, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, leave a comment. If you don't leave a comment, I think you're hating on the show. Leave us a comment, please. I appreciate your time, fans. As always, thank you for making our voice your choice.